I took this image with E-P1 with the original kit lens and processed it through DxO PhotoLab 4 and its DeepPRIME, and this came out. In this video I will show you how the noise reduction was done. Hi there, my name is Peter Forsgaard and I am an Olympus visionary and a professional photographer from Helsinki, Finland. And let's get right into the business. Noise reduction is something that we sometimes need to do, and DxO PhotoLab 4 and its DeepPRIME is most likely the best noise reduction algorithm that there is on the market right now when this video was made in December 2020. I had a video before where I tested newer cameras with the DxO PhotoLab DeepPRIME and how it was able to get rid of noise almost completely, even though with the micro four thirds and very high ISOs. And someone asked me how does it work with older cameras, and in this video I will test a few older cameras and go back to my archives and see how the noise reduction works on those images. And right now DxO PhotoLab has a very good deal. It will be all the way to the end of this year. They will give you 30% off. And there will be a link in the description of this video. So if you know how good that is and you missed their Black Friday deal, go straight to their website and use the link and buy it. It is an affiliate link and I will get a small commission if you buy the software or anything else from DxO PhotoLab. From DxO, But you will not pay any extra. And it's a win-win situation. You get a great software and at the same time you support my channel, which is much appreciated if you do so. But no pressure, if you already have it or don't want to buy it, no problem. Just follow along and see how good it is. The way it works is you can use it as a plugin for Lightroom or as a standalone software. I tend to use it as a plugin, but you can also open the image straight to DxO PhotoLab 4. And what I usually do is that I have everything else off except the lens corrections, and then I turn the noise reduction on and use DeepPRIME with higher ISO images. It will not show how the final image will look, but when you export it, then you can see. And here is a comparison again, how that particular image taken with E-P1 worked. And as you can see, the results are astonishing. I had the luminance value at 40, which I usually use. 30 to 50 maybe is the average, so I tried 40. And it is a bit too much for my likings or your likings. It's a, the noise reduction might make the image a bit like plasticky look in a way, and there is a slight kind of like a plastic look on this image, but for most of us it doesn't really matter that much. It depends on what you do with your image. It's a lot better than the original anyways. On this image I tested the ISO 6400 and look at the results when it went through DxO PhotoLab 4 and its DeepPRIME noise reduction. And what's great about DxO PhotoLab 4 is that it has modules that will correct your distortions, chromatic aberration, all those small faults that your lens might have. When you first open an image in DxO PhotoLab, it will prompt this if you don't have the module already for that combination. Then just press download and it will download and it will apply it to the image if you have the image corrections on, like I have. And then when you press DeepPRIME and export the image, you get this instead of this. Can you imagine? E-P1 was launched in 2009, I think it was. It's the first micro four thirds camera. Can you imagine? 11-year-old camera and you can get results like this with ISO 6400. I think it's mind-blowing, it's astonishing. It's something that I would never believe if I did not see it in my own eyes. So I sincerely tell you to consider getting this software, because it is really good. I very seldom say that you should buy something, but if there's something that you should buy, then this is it. Honestly, I'm not kidding. And if you don't believe it, or believe me, then just go and download the trial version and test it yourself. And you have 30 days to test it and see if it works on your images. Go back to your archives and see what you have or what you can do with older images that had higher ISOs. And yeah, it's just something else. But let's look at some images we've taken with E-M1. But before we look at this image and how it is after going through DeepPRIME, I will give you a few extra tips about how to avoid noise when you're shooting these images. But that will be in the end of this video, so be sure to watch that. But look at this image. This was taken in a museum in 2015 with the Olympus OMD E-M1 camera. Actually, I kind of like the structure that the noise gives here. It looks like a grain. It's kind of fits this image because it got this old telephone, and the overall subject is something that the noise is not actually that bad. But when it's gone through DeepPRIME, it actually looks a bit better. As you can see, the phone, it looks smooth and nice. There is more of a real feeling of the material on the phone. That's what it looks like. It's nice and shiny, and it is a bit better this way. Then we have this photograph from Alexander's Street, Aleksanterin katu here in Helsinki, where they opened the Christmas street or turned on the Christmas lights, and there was a small parade. This was taken a few years ago with E-M1. And look at how much better the image looks when it's gone through DeepPRIME. Both of these images were used, I used the ISO 3200. And look at this image from New York City Metro, taken in 2015 with the M5 MKIII. Look how much cleaner the image is after I've gone it through DeepPRIME in DxO PhotoLab 4. And it also works with lower ISOs, like ISO 800. This old beat-up Cadillac, which is from, I don't know, 58, 62, something, right? It's not 59, I know that, but it's maybe 58 or 60. Not really sure. If you know, please let me know in the comments down below. But look how much cleaner the image is and how much better looking the image is when it's gone through DxO PhotoLab 4. I used the lens corrections and DeepPRIME to make it look better. As you saw, the DeepPRIME works really well on older cameras too. It's not only for newer cameras, because as I said, they have these modules to correct also older cameras. Even the EP1 and the lens that I had, the kit lens, the original kit lens, has a own module to make some corrections to the faults of the lens, like distortions and chromatic aberration and things like that. It will make the image look better. Even if you're not using DeepPRIME, it still will be a lot better looking image, a lot sharper, a lot clearer, and all that. But I really say that this is something that I really recommend you to check out and see for yourself. Download the trial version if you don't believe me. There is a link in the description down below. And then the few tips that I promised. The first tip is to, of course, use as low ISO as possible. Olympus cameras have a very good image stabilizer in the sensor. That will help you to have longer shutter speeds handheld too. But of course, if there is something moving in the picture, then you need to consider that how long your shutter speeds can be without blurring the image. If you don't want motion blur in the image, of course. And then the second thing is, which is the most important thing, is to expose to the right. Make the image as bright as possible without clipping the highlights. That's of course the key. Do not clip the highlights, that will ruin your image. And then in post, lower the exposure and you will have less noise in the image to start with. And then use noise reduction from DxO PhotoLab 4. You will get stunning results, even really high ISO images. Yeah, and the link in the description is the place to go. And after you have gone there, you might want to watch this video about DxO PhotoLab with newer cameras, and the other one is some more tips about how to get better or less noise in your images in camera. But hey, thanks for watching and bye for now.